Hello, welcome to the show. Suzanne Lynn here with author Kuriel, who wrote Sensing Strange and Twisted Travels, Volume 1. Kuriel served 10 years active duty in the Navy before getting out in 2016. He's worked since then at the Department of Defense as a contractor. And through it all, he says he's been a dreamer. He's got a talent for expanding the mundane into the magical, which I think is just a beautiful way of saying it. Kuriel, glad that you're here. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome. Thank you.
That's great.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your book for Sensing Strange and Twisted Travels. It's a collection of 5 short stories. Let's kind of talk about that.
Sure. So, every author has to begin somewhere, and in tackling a whole bunch of different things, and trying to decide what I wanted to write about, what stories I wanted to convey. I landed on this book, this title. And I call it that not necessarily because, you get that twisted, strange, mean, cruel aspect, but I call it twisted mostly because there's the standard way of dealing with an issue, and then there's a magical, a compassionate, a kind or gentle way. And sometimes those other ways take a lot more effort, and I like to explore that.
Interesting. So the real true way that sometimes we deal with things in person is actually the twist. It's actually the twisted way, right?
Yeah. Well, so it's like you look at the way, look at the world we're living in right now. We're doing this interview in the middle of this whole COVID pandemic thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, and so many other things just going on in the world right now. And it's very easy to get angry, frustrated, and react from that place. It's a lot harder to go, what's a way to step back? What's another way to actually achieve a result that I want? And I try to explore that idea. I don't always succeed. It doesn't always go well. Sometimes the narrative's just like, no, I won't support that. And I try to stay true to the story rather than forcing that other perspective. But compassion really does come up a lot. It's one of my recurring themes. So
it's interesting because when I think of the word twisted, I think of, okay, secretly in my mind, I want revenge on this person, and I'm going to build a robot that's going to actually harm them. That's twisted. You're taking it. It really is so twisted to find the compassion and go, no, let's work past the human feelings that we have and find a way to love this person and show a compassionate side.
Well, yeah, that's almost it exactly. It's just most of the time when okay, you got angry at that person. It's like, I want to cast a spell on them and make them do something different. It's like, you're doing that because there's something you want from that person. You're doing that because you actually want to connect with them, and whatever's happened has soured that connection, has made it impossible to pursue. And when you take the point of view of, let's find the connection, you've hit compassion, because that's really what compassion is. It's the language of connection.
So are you a psychology major? How
Oh, no, I'm an engineer.
I mean, in your secret life or something, because this is a level of wisdom, relationship wisdom, and emotional wisdom that most people don't speak to.
It's strange.
It's strange and twisted.
It's like I actually title all of my stories very with purpose.
I can tell you're a deep thinker. I'm just starting the interview and I can sense that. Let's dive into the book itself. I mean, first,
Sure.
Before we start breaking down the different stories, is there a common overall theme over the 5 stories?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It basically, I have written other novels. I haven't actually gone and published them yet. Some of them are set in the same world as these stories, but when I was writing those, I really felt like I was doing the setting a disservice. There was so much more to this world, so much more to the setting, and so much more I needed to learn as an author, as a writer, as a storyteller. And so Sensing Strange and Twisted Travels is about a traveling storyteller who runs around and collects stories from the world. So some of the stories are his actual actions, and some of them are stories that other people give to him. They're cultural treasures, as it were. And very much a magical fantasy setting everywhere he goes. But so like the first few stories, it's actually, you know, he had this job that he did. He had a wife, and then his life implodes. He donates blood to a blood mage, and his whole life implodes afterwards. And then he kind of tries to launch this storytelling career that he's on. And then I take you through what it looks like when for the audience when they're actually watching that story unfold in one of the stories. And then all of the rest of them are really about him going places and then basically repeating the stories that he collects.
Very interesting. I've never heard anything along this line before. This is so different.
Yeah, well, I hate world building information dumps. You know,
what do you mean by that?
So there's a lot of different ways to handle telling people about the world, right? You've got the Tolkien method, where he's going to tell you about every single mountain, the name of the mountain, who named it, who first walked across it, how tall it is, what all the colors of the different trees are, ad nauseum for the setting. And it's like, that's great because it gives you a sense of what's going on, but there's no action. There's no engagement with the reader. It's like reading a travel brochure, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't want to tell stories where I'm giving you a travel brochure. The stories that I like to tell help you explore and engage the setting in an entertaining and fun way. So you're going, oh man, that really is, you know, I really felt like I was there. I really felt like I was seeing what these characters were seeing. And I feel like I understand this story and this world and these characters better than you would otherwise.
Kuriel, the thing that I love about your book with these stories and Sensing Strange and Twisted Travels is that there's a common theme. You can put yourself in these characters and go, I could see that happening. I can relate to that. That's important.
Yeah, especially when you're essentially dealing with a world where everybody's got kind of a magical superpower, if you want to call it that. Like that's how we would term it today. They'd all just be, well, shoot, everybody's a superhero, right. You know, or has superhero level power in some way, shape, or form. Although some of the talents are very small, and you'd be like, man, that's not much of a talent.
Right.
You know, you can make your breath smell better.
I would take that. I don't know. I'm putting that up in superpowers. Kuriel, oh my goodness, I can't believe how fast the time has gone by, but absolutely so excited about this book. We've got to get this out to people. Again, it's called Sensing Strange and Twisted Travels, Volume 1. And where is it available? Give us some juicy details about that.
It's available on Amazon. I did self-publish there. If you're having trouble finding it on Amazon for any reason, you can always go to mkuriel.com. That's where I blog. That's where I share a lot of different thoughts about all of these different deep thoughts. And that's also where you can sign up for my newsletter. Basically, I like to try to connect with people. I like to try to connect with people that enjoy what I'm selling. But I'm also not going to hit you every single month with a sales pitch. You know, sure, you know, I'll tell you about what's going on in my life. I'll tell you where you can find my books. But mostly the newsletter is meant to make you laugh, make you think.
Let's just have a relationship.
Ask you a question. Right. Yeah, ask you a question that's on my mind and give you an opportunity to respond.
Kuriel, thank you so much for joining us one more time. It is Sensing Strange and Twisted Travels, Volume 1. Have a great day and go ahead and check out that book.
Thank you so much.